Good afternoon, guys. I am finally starting to feel better. This morning, though, ooh, that was death warmed over. I can hear on my left side again, just a little bit muffled, but it's starting to clear up. Just low energy. I'm just zapped, but feeling better. Sinuses are still a little plugged up, but nowhere near yesterday or this morning. So this morning, just kind of took it easy, been, having chicken noodle soup, and the wife is in worse shape than I am. She got a nasty stomach bug that's, I guess, going around. Luckily, I didn't get it, but she's got it coming out of both ends. Had to take the day off of school. None of that here. But made a trip to Lowe's already. I did not feel like filming anything, but let me show you what I did. So the wife noticed that when you turned the cold faucet on, about 3/4 of the way, it was leaking. It was just pouring out from underneath the actual handle. So I figured, okay, well, maybe the cartridge is worn or something. No, took it apart. First of all, got a new cartridge assembly. Very proud of these, I have to say. This is the old one. It's 18 bucks for this stupid thing. If you want it brass, if you want plastic, it's only 4 something. Of course, I don't ever want to touch it again, so I went with the brass. That's what was in here. But I took it off. You just undo the set screw, handle pops right up, and you've got one nut, and then this just slides out. So first thing I noticed, there's no sealing O-ring. See that schmutz line right there? It's supposed to be an O-ring. New one has one on there. So that was the major source of leaking, of course. Second was they had installed 180 degrees out. This stopper here, which is what the handle physically stops against, is meant to be over the same side as the input hole. You've got a input and an output hole where the water comes through and just makes like a loop, right? And they had it backwards. So, they also flipped the actual valve assembly. So it was cranked and installed backwards. It just wasn't working right, but we're working fine now. No leaks. And that flapper noise, turns out, is not a problem because they're all doing it in the house. The guest bath and the 2 in the master bath are all making the noise. It's just the way the wind's whipping through here the last couple days. So the wireless kit here from SVS came in today's mail, and this is it. It's very simple. It's basically a wireless transmitter and receiver, and you plug one into your receiver or output of your amp, whatever is sending signal. These are good for a mono or stereo signal. So you could use it to send to some external speakers, as long as there isn't too much in between the transmitter and receiver. But they're really made for making your sub signal wireless. If you have a powered sub, obviously you still have electrical power. And these do take electrical power themselves. And they come with USB adapters here. If you've got any 5-volt USB source, you don't have to use the wall wart. So maybe your amplifier or receiver has a USB power out, you could use that. However you want to do it, or I think even the battery backup unit in there, if you've got a USB port on that, that should power them. But however you want to do it, it makes the signal source wireless instead of wired. So if you've got a long run, like I do, up and over the fireplace, or if you've got your sub at the back of a room, you're going over a ceiling or whatever, anything longer than 6-8 feet, you have the chance of getting inducted noise from the signal wire, especially from household electricity at the 59-60 hertz cycle. So you might have a hum, and this gets rid of that. Now the previous kit also said it did the same thing, but I had a lot of interference. Now this, interestingly, also works on the same 2.4 gigahertz band. So I need to make sure the microwave isn't going to interfere with it. That's the number one thing that interferes with anything on that band. Old cordless phones or baby monitors can also do it, but we'll see. It's not too common that we're going to be operating the microwave while we're listening to the sub, but if we've got random pops like I had with the last system, this one's going to be out too, and I'll have to figure something else out. But I'm confident it's going to work because this had a lot of positive reviews, specifically that it didn't have those issues. This is like the system that people buy after they've tried the cheaper ones, which is exactly what I did. So we're gonna plug it in. Got to pull the receiver out of the rack, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. It barely fits in there. It's bigger than my old unit. And I actually had to cut a hole in the back of the cabinet to let some cables poke out the back because it didn't have the depth. That's how big this receiver is. But I got to swing it out, plug the transmitter into the back of there, hook it into power. They automatically sync. And we'll see if it works. Stand by. Okay, so far so good. We've got the units paired. That is an obnoxiously bright blue light. I will be putting blue tape over that. Klipsch does the same thing on the front of their units here, and that's what the tape does. Makes it nice and muted. The other one I've just got inside here. And that's working fine. I've got no hum, no pops, no cracks. It's maintaining signal. Blue light on the sub means it is activated. It's seeing signal. And right now I've got it, I manually turned it to on just so it would receive. And it's nice and quiet. Absolutely nothing. So that is good. I'm gonna go ahead and play some and rerun the calibration, see if we've got any difference in delay between this and the last system. That would show up as a difference in the measurement from the seating position for the sub. Working absolutely perfectly. So if you're looking for this kind of wireless solution, highly recommend the SVS. I'm gonna take care of that blue light, but that did it. Beautiful. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and test the microwave. Now before, on the old system, as soon as you turn this on, the sub would just be like you're plugging in and out. Pop, 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 pop. Like popcorn. It was bad. Total interference. Nothing. Perfect. So fast forward a couple days here. I'm going to combine some stuff into the video. Feeling much better. I'd say about 95% better. A little bit of stuffiness, so not quite good enough to review a cigar, but I don't feel sick, so good to go there. Done a couple things yesterday. Let me show you. First was a little drawer repair. Alexa, turn on the cabinet lights. So my best guess is somebody slammed into this. We use this for the dog stuff. So it's the first drawer in here coming into the kitchen. And maybe it was open and some kid came running in and slammed it because this whole side got rocked. My wife just tells me that it was wobbling and not closing right. So I took a look at it and it sure enough would kind of get stuck about here. Remember me complaining that she was always leaving the drawers open? Well, it wasn't entirely her fault, although she could have closed it. So you can see now, closes completely normally, nice and smooth on its own like it should. Just a normal, nothing special drawer slides. But it was coming off the track up underside because the track itself, can't see it, was loose, way up in the corner there. So about here, it was falling off that rear roller and the whole thing was torquing and basically falling on the frame. So it was dragging. So that's why it was not nice and smooth. And then I took a look further and this whole side here was coming apart and kind of still is. This joint is supposed to be solid, more like this one, but even this is coming apart. All they did to join these two is freaking staples. It's really kind of cheap. And these sides and the front construction here is particle board, very, very thin stuff. And then it's glued all along the bottom up underneath. But solid enough right now, the way I have it. And what I did to fix it is drilled a hole and drove a small screw through. So it's at least binding it together. And this is no longer free to flex. This was completely disjointed with nothing holding it but this bottom staple and the glue in the bottom. So it doesn't move anymore. It's fine. I don't have to build or buy a new drawer. Good to go there. Alexa, turn on the living room lights. So I got the new Apple TV 4K edition in. Here's the old one, the 4th gen. and it is nearly identical to the 5th gen, the 4K version. The only real difference between the two, this one, the 4th gen, is only good up to 1080p. If you need 4K, you have to get the 4K version. Now, even though they supposedly have different processors, that's like, for those of you who don't know, the Apple TV is basically an iPhone. Seriously. The board, the processor, the RAM, everything inside is directly off the current gen at the time iPhones. That's all these are. And then they put in inputs and outputs and make it into a streaming box. That's all these are. There are no moving parts, and you know, whatever they're producing at the time that they make a new Apple TV, it's from the current top-of-the-line iPhone. So I don't remember when this came out, I think 3 years ago. So it was, I believe, based on either the 6 Plus or the 7. And then when the 4K came out, a year and a half ago or so, it was based on either the 8 or the, no, it wasn't the 10 yet. But anyway, it was a little jump in processor performance. There is no difference, let me just tell you straight up. Going through the menus, you know, launching things, screens coming up, there's absolutely no difference. They're both instant. So don't think for a second you need to upgrade for any other reason than you're going from 1080p to 4K. And that's why I had to do this, because this has no support at all for 4K. Both of them support all the audio formats, Dolby Atmos, they pass through everything. They're really great. That's why I love them. There are no limitations to this. So if you have a high-end system, audio or visual, the Apple TV is the box to get. Seriously, it's the only one that does everything that you need to do. All the other ones have at least one big limitation. So yes, these are kind of expensive, 2 and 3 times the price of many of the others, but that's the price you have to pay to get fully compatible stuff. Minor differences on the remote, same basic functionality. This is the 4th gen and this is the 5th. They just basically put a white ring around the menu button, I guess to make you feel like you paid for something. That's it. Absolutely no difference at all in functionality. And that's all there is to that. So the TV is coming today. I have a good delivery window between noon and 6. It's definitely going to be on the long side of that because it hasn't even left the freight depot in Orlando yet. And we're pushing 11 o'clock now. So they've got quite a drive over here. No problem whatsoever. So that's what'll happen later today. So we had a delay on taking the wife's car in, and I think I mentioned that in the last video. Minor problem with the repair that they had done. Update on that, they had to order another radiator, and we'll be picking up this Saturday morning. That's when it'll be ready. So it wasn't just that fitting. I'm glad I didn't go buy any special wrenches. Couldn't have fixed it anyway. It was actually the sleeve inside the radiator, inside the oil cooler, that was dribbling out the oil. So they had to get a whole new unit. Oh yeah, my buddy Jeff is interested in the old 60-inch plasma, so I'm giving him a killer deal on that this weekend. And he also wants my old receiver, which I got in the office, so I'll throw that in too. If anyone local, he didn't need this because he already has boxes. If anyone local needs a screaming deal on an Apple TV 4th gen, $80 and it's yours. And I've got, at the time, it was a top-of-the-line Sony Blu-ray player. If anybody wants this local, $20. Otherwise, stuff's just going in the garage. I'll even throw in the HDMI cable. That's pretty much worth it right there. Well, I have to say I'm a little concerned about the TV delivery. There's only a couple hours left in the delivery window, and the online status has not updated since yesterday. Says it's still sitting in Orlando. No phone calls, no emails. I shot him a contact us blurb, nothing back from that. So hopefully the online system is just really delayed and it will show up on time. Otherwise, there's a problem. Luckily, I work from home, but if I was just Joe Schmo and had to take basically the whole day off for a delivery that didn't show up, I'd be a little pissed. But on the plus side, some parts showed up. I got both the left and the right, and I think that's the left, that's the right, ABS sensors for the Kia Soul. Grand total shipped of $41, so definitely cheap enough to go ahead and just do both of them. I'm not going to bother testing to see which one I needed. We'll just throw both of them on there. They are aftermarket parts. There's a ton of them out there. This particular one had the most good reviews, You know, I don't know if they're all real reviews or not, but the OEMs were more than double the price. So cheap enough to at least, you know, throw them on, see if they work. I'm sure they're going to work. How long? Who knows? Don't think I'm going to have the car by the time they wear out. Who knows? Actually, just saw the 2020 Soul that was released today at the LA Auto Show, and it really looks sharp. Maybe after it's been out a year, I'll pick one up used, and that'll be my next one in 2 or 3 years. Looking forward to it. Good news, after half an hour sitting on hold, I got through to the shipping company and they verified that yes, their systems have been on the brink and it was put on the truck this morning and it is out for delivery right now. Yay! Here's something I don't believe I covered in a previous video. I got this product called sorbitol. It's been around for years. I mean, this was like an as seen on TV thing, like I think 15, 20 years ago. It is phenomenal for vibration damping and complete absorption, really. I bought these on Amazon. I think I put them down in the store. If not, I'll do it by the time this video comes out. But basically, they're little like rubber pucks. They are quite sticky. They're not like permanent glue sticky or 3M tape sticky, but they're pretty close. They will take off the finish on some things, so you don't put it on anything that isn't super durable. But what they do is just completely absorb vibration. So I got these and I put them underneath all my speakers. This is obviously where the center channel goes. I'm just prepping, getting ready to take the old TV down. I got a down. I'm waiting for the wife to get home because I got this up and down by myself once. It's almost 100 pounds and I'm not making that mistake again. It is a bitch to do yourself. And the new TV is slightly heavier at 102 pounds, I think, or 98 pounds, something like that. Anyway, all you do is stick these underneath the product that you want to isolate, and it works like magic. It was super cheap. I think I got a kit. I got 2 kits of 8. God, I can't remember. Let's see. I did, 2 kits of 8. So they come pre-sliced. You can cut them with scissors if you want to. You can cut these in half, quarter them if you need them smaller, whatever. You just need to have enough area to physically go underneath whatever you want on top of them. The thicker they are, the more weight they handle. These are just wide enough and just thick enough so that they handle my sub, which is the heaviest thing that is on top of them. The next would be the tower speakers. And they seriously work like magic. Got them down underneath here, and what I did to protect the floor is I just cut the cellophane that they come sandwiched between around, so it's on the cellophane, so it's not sticking to the floor whatsoever. And it's just on the rubber feet that come stock on the sub. Same with the speakers, it's right under the 4 stock rubber feet. And they completely decouple all the speakers from the floor. It tightened up the bass. I swear I mentioned this because I remember saying that it did make a difference. But I can't remember if I was talking about when I was imaging the speakers or not. Anyway, this seriously made a difference. And it was like 15 bucks a kit. So, I mean, dirt cheap for the effect that it had. It stopped any kind of transmission of the direct vibration from the speakers or sub through the floor to the walls or anything else. So really is something that I highly recommend. I know there's tons of other stands and feet and decouplers and floating systems and all that kind of good stuff, and I'm sure they work just as well, if not better, but holy cow, are they expensive. This was something that was just cheap enough to try. If it didn't work, who cares? 15 bucks, 30 bucks, big deal. But it worked. Absolutely worked perfectly. I even considered getting a heavier, thicker set and putting it under the cabinet because I did have some vibrations in the cabinet. However, they were all fixed by simply driving a screw, right there. I can't see it, but it's just up at an angle, and it's making this backing, which is just that, cheap paper board kind of stuff, and it's pushing it into the slot so it doesn't vibrate, and that completely cured all noise from the cabinet, so I didn't need anything there. But yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Oh yeah, that looks like a delivery truck. Wife's Amazon crap.
What? He's been waiting for this.
All right, I'm going to pick up dinner. And of course, the delivery truck just went around the corner. That means there's a TV inside. Let's go check it out. While I'm here, a couple of you had asked to see what the laser pointers look like for the parking assist. So since the wife's driving my car now till Saturday, I will just park in the garage here. You can see the dots on the floor there. So you just drive up into your spot and see them come up the hood there and just line them up to wherever you want them to line up. Right in the middle there is our spot. That's it. Wow, that's large. I think you're right about the 82 being too big. Damn. Alexa, turn on the hallway lights. That thing is massive. Oh, they're on. Alexa, turn on the hall lights.
Look at Chloe in reference to it.
Yeah. What is that, Chloe? Alexa, turn on the entry light. Ah, there we go. Couldn't remember what I named it. What do you think, Chloe? Whew. So this is belly level for me. Man, that's almost 6 feet wide. Very cool. Yep, that's a good size TV. Okay.
This is ridiculous.
That's awesome. Let's get it on the wall. So I had the old one aligned just perfectly where the bottom of the TV just cleared the center channel speakers, so I didn't have any interference. I measured the distance between the bottom of the bracket and the bottom of the TV at 8 inches. Something really cool here, they give you screws for the VESA mount, so I don't have to fish around and find the right depth or thread size. So now I can put on my universal brackets. These look a little lower down here than the other TVs, so I'll be sliding it up a bit to give me that 8-inch clearance, and the rest will just go vertical. Okay, moving on from one problem to the next. Got everything remounted. Now I'm tall enough. Now, bigger problem, my HDMI cable is too short. The old TV has the inputs, again, fairly centered, easy to get to. They're way over down here. HDMI 1 is right there on this guy. So that means this has to reach all the way around and end up somewhere about here. So I'm like 8 inches short, somewhere around there. Time to get up in the attic, see if I can get any slack. I've got some slack at the back here, but this is just jammed up on something and does not move 1 inch more out of the wall. Yay, not what I wanted to do tonight. I really hate working in the attic. All right, that is all the slack there is. That is not even enough where I could take the receiver out. I'll have to unplug it from the back if I have to get into that again, which I don't think I do, but that's the way it is. Pulled everything I could back out this end. I think it's gonna be barely enough. Should be somewhere just about like that. So that'll work. Wow, that's a big freaking panel. Okay, it's hung, good to go. Everything is cabled. I'm updating the firmware. This will take several minutes, I'm sure. I'll go ahead and calibrate it, get it all set up, then tie it into the Harmony, replace the LG plasma in the system, and should be good to go. Well, we're getting there. Slight stumbling block. One or both of the HDMI cables in the system, I'm really hoping it's the short one between the Apple TV and the receiver, is not high speed enough, and I can't use either of the HDRs. I do have Dolby Vision support in the chain, the Apple TV, the receiver, and the TV, so it should work, but the cables do need to be up to snuff. They're both high speed cables. Unfortunately, there's no real good spec for those kinds of connections. So got to do some A/B testing tomorrow, and probably have to pick up one or two cables real quick to get this working. But got the color calibrated, got it all set up and ready to go. I'll put new felt on the sides, get that all buttoned up, and that'll be tomorrow's project. All right, so I'm gonna try a couple things here. I've got the same HDMI cable that I have in the cabinet. I took the Apple TV out and I'm just gonna plug it directly in, bypass the receiver. So that'll bypass the long line going in through the ceiling. The other thought I had, there are 5 HDMI ports on the TV, 2 here on the side, 3 right here on the bottom. And I know sometimes they have different specs. So there's one that's rated for everything, and then some that are generic, and one that supports a computer, different stuff like that. So I need to look at the specs and make sure that I'm using the correct HDMI port for HDR 4K TV. I've got it in one, which is usually the most supported, but you never know. We'll see. Well, getting there. All right, turns out both the cables need to be replaced. This interconnect one is slightly faster than the long one, but neither one is fast enough to do what I need to do. Notice how bright that screen is? Yeah, that's on dark. This is on the HDR setting. This cable isn't fast enough to even prompt it to go into Dolby Vision, and obviously it's not correct here in HDR. If you go down to SDR, it gets the normal color, but of course you lose all HDR features. And I can't even bump up the chroma. It's on 420 right now. Can't even do 422 or 444. Neither cable will support that. So, yeah, even though, well, I don't know the specs on this cable. There's no brand name on it. I got it from Best Buy years ago. It just says high-speed HDMI with Ethernet. The media bridge cable, which is the 25-foot, online says that it supports HDMI 2 and 18 gigabits per second and yada, yada, yada. It obviously does not. Now, it's an older cable. Looking it up, it's from around 2013, 2014. So yeah, the specs have changed since then, and it's just time to get brand new cables. So I'm gonna run down to Walmart real quick. I don't think I'm gonna get up in the attic. It's 9:30 tonight, but I'll have to run that new 25-foot and get a new interconnect cable, and that should do it. Oh, and I did figure out that on the 3 lower Vizio tiers, what I said was correct. HDMI 1 is your only high speed. However, on this P Series, all 5 are full speed. So you can plug anything into any port and not have to worry about it whatsoever. Here's a quick primer and rant about cables and micro SD cards. So I ran down to Walmart, and surprisingly, I mentioned it in a previous video, my particular Walmart has some pretty good higher end stuff, not the typical low end crap that my old Walmart just carried. So in addition to the low end brand stuff, they do carry some stuff like these monster cables. Now, this seems to be a line just produced exclusively for certain retailers, such as Walmart, and I think Best Buy. These Ultra HD Gold. You don't find these at all on the Monster Cables website. You only find their upper series. So I can't find any official specs for these. And I can't find these for sale on Amazon. I see silvers on Amazon, I see golds on retailer sites, and I see blacks direct on Monster. So whether or not these are gonna work, I don't know until I actually try it. And here's what I mean. Speeds for cables and speeds for micro SD cards are just marketing bullshit. They can put whatever number on these boxes they want, and you have no idea if it's true until you actually plug it in. And even then, you don't have a way of actually measuring to see exactly how much speed you're passing through it. Now, I'll be honest, what exactly about a cable makes it one speed or another, I have no freaking clue. It's a digital signal. It's not like there's analog degradation. I don't know if it's a different number of connections. I have no idea. I don't know why one cable can be twice as fast as another. What physically about it makes it do that? But it's a real thing. All right, and here's a good example. Here's their marketing BS, and these are not industry gauges, by the way. So they have high-speed cables here, which you'll see printed on pretty much every HDMI cable out there. It'll say high speed, right? And their marketing claim here is that it's rated for 10.2 gigabits per second, which may or may not be true. Some certainly are. Some are going to be lower, some are going to be higher. Now they're claiming that quote-unquote premium cables, which again doesn't mean anything. There's no such thing as an official premium cable, right? Are rated for 18. Now 18 is important because 18 is theoretically what you need for a 4K TV with all the HDR and high quality features turned on. With all those turned on, ratings of 18 or above should be good to go. Below that, like you see in my system right now, bad things happen. All right, you can have no signal, you can have a weird signal, you can have features turning on and off on their own. All kinds of things are going to happen if you don't have enough speed between your devices. Well, this particular cable is rated, so they say, for 21 gigabits per second. So great. I don't care if it reaches 21, but I want it guaranteed to reach 18. All right. So boom, $10 for this 4-foot interconnect cable. That is a steal if it actually works. Okay. So they also had a couple in-between sizes. They had a 6, they had a 12, and they had a 25. And it was only $25, which is a steal, again, if it works. Now, the only concern I have, it may be a packaging difference, or there may actually be a speed difference between these just because of the cable runs. They're the same series. They're both Ultra HD Gold. But this one specifically calls out the speed rating, 21 gigabits per second, and the back here shows their little comparison. On the 25-footer, there's no such claim of any speed anywhere. It does say premium down there. Now, whether or not they're calling that premium in that same category there, in which case that's fine. If it reaches 18, that's all I need. But you can see they don't have anything on here as far as their marketing about speed. So I don't know if this is rated for 21 also, or not. But it does specifically say works for 4K, works for 60 hertz, which again is important for your bandwidth, and works for HDR, which again is a feature that requires more bandwidth. Bandwidth, the rating here, the gigabits per second, is simply how fast the information pulls through. And I have to say, going to 4K, it's a pain in the ass compared to 1080p. With 1080p, you basically buy whatever you want, you find the best deal you want, you plug it in, and it works. There is nothing to do with 1080p. It's a very low demand specification. 1080p requires like 6 gigabits a second. Anything works, period. You don't need anything special. When you go to 4K, boom, all of a sudden, everything has to be in line. So, especially with the TV with the HDR signals, especially HDR10 or Dolby Vision, which are even higher end spec HDR specifications, especially going to 444, you just need more bandwidth. So what I'm going to do is try each of these direct. I'll just plug the Apple TV in with each cable direct, bypassing the receiver. I'll verify that both of them work, and then I'll know if I plug everything back in through the receiver that the receiver itself is the problem. I don't think it is. However, I found one little asterisk. If you look on the Yamaha website, it does say that it supports Dolby Vision with a little asterisk coming in a future firmware update. Now, they just had a firmware update for the receiver a couple weeks ago, and I've got it installed. They only list the release notes for that last version. I don't know, it's on like 2 point something. I don't know what else came before that. I don't know if Dolby Vision is already there, or if that marketing blurb never got updated and it's really coming sometime in the future. I have no idea. But we'll at least verify these cables right now. Well, this is a good sign. So I've got the 4-foot interconnect plugged in, just testing it direct. And the first thing that was different was switching the input. It automatically knew it was an Apple TV, and it actually changed the name of the input to Apple TV instead of HDMI 1. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and, see, I'm using my phone as a remote. Stand by. I'm gonna go ahead and try this Dolby Vision test again. Success. Worked, no problem. Detected it, switched over the TV format, and good to go. Okay, now I've got the 25-footer plugged in direct. I'm gonna go ahead and try the full-on Dolby Vision again. Damn, that's what I was afraid of. So there is definitely a speed difference between the 25-foot and all the others in the Gold series. Which unfortunately means I have to spend a lot more money finding a 25-footer that is guaranteed to work with Dolby Vision. That sucks. That was going to be an awesome deal of the century if that thing worked. Okay, you know what? I'm going to measure it out and verify I actually need a 25. I might be able to get away with a 20. Crap. That sucks. Okay, and here's the solution for runs really over 15 feet. What you have to go to is called an active cable. There are chips inside each end. It's not just a dumb cable. And the interesting thing about going to do an active cable is it's directional. So if you get one of these, make sure that you don't plug it in backwards, especially if, like me, you're gonna be going through the ceiling and all that, because you have to take it all out. The TV end goes to the TV only. Now check this out. I was looking at the sizes. 20 foot would barely fit. So, you know, I was trying to go as low as I can to keep the speeds up. They want $30 for the 20 foot, which isn't bad at all. But check out the 25, massive sale, $12.59. I just ordered one. It'll be here in 2 days.